plans to publicise the bill which is coming up on February the 23rd in Leicester. Our shows in Leicester of late have gone extremely well. Good following for the fighters, some of whom are Leicester based, who you see in front of us now. And topping the bill, Sam Bowen was supposed to be against Ronnie, but Frank, you've got, first of all, before we go any further, an announcement to make about that.
Yeah, Yarde is pulled out, so that's the fellow who's selling his belt. I don't think he'll have a belt to sell soon. He's ridiculous. I don't understand why he wanted to fight in the first place. So he's gone now, so we've got to find a new opponent for Sam, and hopefully by the end of the week we'll be in a position to announce the opponent. But whatever happens, he will be fighting Leicester, defending his title. So apologies, but all beyond our control.
So you're convinced it's still going to be for a British title?
Yeah, he will be. He wanted to be for a British title. If anyone's got the balls to come up there and take the fight with him. But having said that, if it's not, it'll be for another title. Whatever happens, he will fight for a title. The objective this year is to keep him busy, keep him working hard, and it's a great domestic scene. There's quite a few young fighters out there who are going to be coming back in that division, and I'm hoping that we can make those fights up in Leicester. But whatever happens, Sam will fight.
Well, we'll hear a bit more from Sam in a minute or two, but you can see a lot of fighters in front of you here, and I think probably as well to start anywhere as for a Midlands title fight. And often you find that these area title fights, Frank, and the British title fights are sometimes more dramatic than the so-called super fights that we'll have to pay for. And on here we have CJ and Kyle Hayward, which are on paper is a tremendous fight. Two undefeated fighters. There you go. You said it. They're undefeated. So unless it's a draw, someone's going to lose their own, as they say. So they're always highly competitive, these type of fights. That's what we try. It's our philosophy in making these undercards, making real competitive fights on the undercard, and this certainly is one. And these two guys, you've got to look at them now. They can really fight tomorrow. They're in great condition, ready to go. So it's going to be a fantastic fight tonight. And from a Leicester perspective, it's kind of a bragging rights fight, isn't it? You've got CJ, who's with Hutch, and down here you've got Kyle, who's with Carl. Which is it's everything that you want in a local derby battle. It's the Battle of Leicester. That's what it is, and as I say, I think we're going to see something a little bit special tonight with these two guys. Well, let's hear from the two lads. Kyle, first of all, undefeated in 8 fights. How do you fancy this fight?
Yeah, well, what a fight this is. Like, if anyone that's from Leicester, it's always been on the card, both of us. Both undefeated, like you said, someone's always got to go. It's not only who's the best in Leicester, but who's the best in the Midlands for this fight. So yeah. Have you ever
sparred him? What do you know about him?
No, it's funny really, because we've fought on the same amateur shows, we've fought on the same pro shows, but we've never sparred. The gyms are only a stone throw away from each other, so yeah.
Was it always at the back of your mind that somewhere down the line, CJ is going to be somebody who you're going against?
Yeah, 100%. Like I think we boxed on the same as amateurs. We boxed in the Midlands final, both of us. And we supported each other in that, which was nice. But in the back of both our minds was like, we're going to possibly be on the same path, similar sort of weights and that. So yeah, it was always a thing. Ever since turning professional, we turned pro about similar times. But yeah, what a fight! I'm so excited.
What was your route into boxing? I mean, are you somebody who's been involved in boxing since you're 8 years old?
No,
are you a relative late?
Yeah, no. I started boxing. I went to a boxing gym when I was 12 for the first time. Boxed as an amateur until I was about 18, 19. Left the sport for a bit. Come back when I was like 24, 25. Fell in love with it again, but tenfold, do you know what I mean? Like, I was never taking it serious when I was young. It was just sort of something that I did. Whereas when I went back, I had maturity and life experience, and I'd done things, and I know what I wanted and what I could gain from the sport. So yeah, full dedication and 100% Carl Hayward on the night. So this is everything to me. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, let's say hello to CJ, who's going to be fighting you for this Midlands area title. A Leicester lad and a local derby. What's your thoughts on it?
It's a great fight. Yeah, again, Leicester puts on a great show. 2 people, undefeated boxers. Yes, Leicester's always providing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I think the whole boxing community should be looking forward to it as well. How often do you get people putting their O on the line? It's not often that people do this. A lot of people want to get protected and looked after, and not take risks. So it's great for the city. It's great for boxing. It's great for Frank Warren. It's great for BT Sports. And it's great for us fighters.
And what's your thoughts about him? Because obviously he knows all about you. How highly do you rate him? How difficult is he likely to be?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, he's a good operator. Like he said himself, we know each other. So yeah, you have to always respect your opponents. You can't ever get in with any Tom, Dick or Harry and expect them to be any sort of level. You have to always prepare for the best and expect the best. And then on the night, you pull it out of the bag.
Do you get on well, or is it going to be one of these, as the fight comes a bit closer, that you're going to be growling at each other?
No, of course, obviously it is what it is, you know.
There's no animosity between both of us, but you know, I think I can beat him and he thinks he can beat me, and that's all there is to it.
The last time,
personal.
The last time we had two people here who were saying that sort of thing, I think was Josh Warrington and Carl Frampton. Look at the first 2 rounds we got there. Sometimes you don't have to have people throwing tables at each other for it to be a big fight.
That's it. You know, like he says, you're not in this sport if you don't think you can beat anyone. If I was to be sat here or he was to be sat there saying that the other thinks the other's going to win, something's not right there, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, everyone says the right things. It's just on the night you tell them not to do your job, everyone thinks they can win. So
tell us a little bit about life in Hudger's gym up there in Leicester and the sort of atmosphere that you've got in there, because I know when you talk to him, he talks about it's almost being like a family atmosphere. Do you feel that?
Yeah, most definitely. Every day is different. Like, you could not write a formula for the gym. Every day is different. You don't know what to expect when you walk in the gym. You sometimes you come out of the gym thinking, what the hell have I just done? But the chemistry between everyone in the gym is amazing. It's just filled with love. It's a great place to be, and I actually think it's a great breeding ground for success.
And I hear that there's a former world champion, Chris Pyatt, who's in there passing on a few tips now as well.
Yeah, you know what? It's amazing to be around such pioneers of the sport in general, let alone for our city. It's great to pick up little bits of knowledge here and there. There's little things, someone that's been so high and so far in the game, there's little things that you don't know. So to have that advice on deck is amazing.
Well, we look forward to what on paper is going to be a very, very level fight indeed. Now, next to Kyle there, we've got Sam Maxwell, who's also on the bill. And Frank, Sam, very, very highly talented.
I think this year's going to be his year. He's been quite patient since he's turned pro, but now it's all about stepping up, and he wants to step up. He's ready to go. I think he's one of the most exciting talents in the country. He's still a young man, and I'm looking forward to him seeing him in Leicester. And he's really busy this year. And if he's not got some sort of title, meaningful title, or a belt around his waist by the end of the year, I'll be very, very surprised.
Undefeated in 10 fights, and he's looked good every time.
Yeah, knocks 8 of them out, stops 8 of them. So he can punch and he can box, and he's nice to work with.
Sam, how happy are you so far with the way your career's going?
I'm very happy, to be honest. I've been pro for about 2.5 years now. I've had 10 fights, and Frank's told me, and my manager's told me, be patient. I've been ready for a while now to step up, but they've said be patient. But it looks like they're putting it into motion. I've got a big step up.
So if you could look at what you want out of 2019, you know, we're all at the beginning of a new year, all with hopes about what might pan out. What would you like to see?
I just wanted to be challenging the big names. Like I said, I've been posting a bit about O'Hara Davis and people like that. I want to be in the ring with them. You know, I want to be challenging them. I think that I'm ready, and yeah, just I'm ready for it.
What do you reckon, Frank? Who are the names who he might do?
I think you just said it, mate. I mean, him and O'Hara would be a great fight. You're going to find out what Sam's got, and we're going to see what, you know, where O'Hara is. I mean, that's what I like to hear from fighters who want to do that. So that shouldn't be a difficult fight to make.
Everything's all sort of been fairly comfortable so far. It's looked it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I box at a very high level in the amateurs, so my transition to the pros, the level of opponent I can deal with easily. So I've been ready for my step up for a long time, but for a while now, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the challenge.
So looking forward to maybe having another eye-catching win on this show on February 23rd.
Yeah, that's it.
Any opponents in mind as yet?
The guys are working on the undercard. You know, just after Christmas, you've got to see who's around and who's not overweight after eating all their Christmas pudding and whatever else. So let's see who's around.
Now, Leon Starchy Sharp, how difficult for you was that to take?
I feel like a lot of people assumed it would have hit me differently to how it actually did. You know what I'm saying? Leading up to the fight, I very much said how I felt about the fight, what I think could happen, and I said if it did happen, I got put down, I'd get back up, I'd fight on, and I literally just lived up to everything that I said. Do you get what I'm saying? So to me, what I learned from the fight and taken away from it was massive, and there's no amount of money that can buy what you get from them experiences. You know what I'm saying? So what I've taken away from it has been massive. It's been huge. So I wasn't down, pure hurt and I'm feeling sorry for myself. I was literally thinking, right, where have I got to go next to? What's the next step? How can I use this situation to better me? Do you get what I'm saying? So with people around me like CJ and Hodge helping me move forward, it wasn't a massive hit to me. Do you know what I'm saying? I never said I was going to finish my career undefeated. I just said where I want to go and what I want to be, and whatever I've got to go through on the way to that point, so be it.
And of course you only had something was it 25 amateur fights?
Yeah, 25. I think all fights, I've had less than 40 fights altogether. So I'm doing all right, man. Look, and I think just less than 2 years I've picked up 2 titles. I fought an undefeated fighter. I fought game fighters. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people that ain't really making them steps yet, and I'm doing that. I'm living up to what I'm saying, and I'm going to get what I've said that I'm going to get. I will become a world champion. I will do what I need to do, but it's just about taking the right steps at the right time and making every situation, the moment that happens, count. Whether it's a win or a loss. I'm not going to be defined by a loss the same way I won't get defined by a win. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Frank, we live in an era sometimes where a defeat, people are automatically starting to be written off. If you went back a few decades, you know, I mean, having a defeat was just part of a career, and a lot of the very, very highly rated fighters had early career defeats and yet came on to be exceptional.
Well, you know, a defeat can be the making of you in some ways, and it's only, was it last week or the week before? Amir Khan was sitting here fighting Terence Crawford now, and you look at him, he got knocked out in 1 round by Bruce Prescott, and he's been beaten a couple of times since, but he got beaten early in his career. You should take inspiration from that. It's all about learning. It's what you learn from your defeat. That's what it's about. You know, not letting it. You know, a fighter is what he is. He's a fighter, and in life it's ups and downs. You've got to overcome the problems. You overcome the downs, and if you lose, get back to the drawing board and work hard. If you're a young man, you can do it, and I believe that Leon can do that.
100%, man. Of course.
Before that setback happened against Archie Sharp, Sam was very much in your target vision. He's sitting here now. I mean, do you still feel the motivation to think this is the man I want before too long?
Let me tell you something. There's not one single particular person that's in my sights. Anyone that stands in the way of what I want to get to, that's my target, and I'll bowl them over to get there, whether it takes my first attempt or second attempt. I will get through them and get to where I need to get to. So whoever's in the way, that's my target. I ain't gonna like fixate on one singular person, because that's a bit weird.
But to say that you're top dog in your area, that surely would be a special thing, wouldn't it?
If he's there and he's in the way of where I want to get to, then yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not targeting, I'm no one. Like, whoever's the best at the time, or whoever I need to fight at the time to get to where I need to, that's what I want to fight. That's what I'm interested in.
And if that fight were to happen, Frank, I mean, that would be a very marketable one.
Fantastic fight for Leicester. So, you know, Leon, get yourself back on track, and then that's something we can visit later this year.
How highly do you still rate the lad? I mean, I know very early in his career, you sort of earmarked him and highlighted him as somebody who, in your opinion, was special.
Yeah, he is, and I think he's got all the attributes. You know, again, it's all about sometimes the amateur experiences that you've had. And he's not had a tremendous amount of amateur experience, but he's now getting experience. And he's working hard, and I still believe that he can do it. I believe he has a great opportunity, which we'll provide for him, to prove that he can do it. You know, it's been such a game changer, such a good division. You know, you've got, you know, with Sam here, you've got also Zelva Barrett coming back. There's a few of the other young guys there. There's some great fights to be made. Some really good quality fights that I believe will be, you know, great for the fans to watch.
Now, what about Sam? How good do you think he is? Because I know Carl, for years, he's been bending anybody about how talented he is. How highly do you rate him?
Well, he is talented. In his last fight, he was excellent. I mean, he put a foot wrong and done the job. He done it in style, and that's what it's all about. He stepped up to the plate. He had the opportunity there, grabbed it with both hands, and that's why he's sitting where he is now.
Got the British title by stopping Maxi Hughes in April last year, and then beat Cabral in October.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, it's must be, Sam, frustrating, having been looking at fighting Ronnie Clark, that now that's not happening.
Yeah, it's at this point, because obviously we only found out yesterday. Training was going well to fight Ronnie, and it was going to be a brilliant fight. He's come forward strong. Aggressive fight, proved that when he boxed Alpha, and that would have made a great fight with my style as well, because we're very similar, both come forward, so there won't be much chasing now. Both literally toe to toe, good scrap. But no, it's very disappointing that he's pulled out. I don't know his reasons or why, but like I say, potentially we've got bigger and better opportunities now coming on.
You had an injury yourself, which kept you out at the back end of the year. What was it, a rib injury?
Yeah, damaged the rib in sparring. I think it's the muscle come away from the rib. So I got it with a body shot.
Who was that you were sparring?
That David Amar, you know, who was supposed to box Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely good sparring partner, tough, extremely strong. It was just after the sparring, I was just in extreme agony. I struggled to drive home, left it a few days, went to the doctor, and they said that, babe, what you've done is, because I wasn't winded in the sparring, it was weird, it felt like I'd been stabbed. Like I said, extreme agony after, and yeah, they said that it's more than likely you've possibly cracked the rib, or they said the muscles come away from the rib. So they refused an X-ray. I booked in private at Nuffield, and they rang me and said they won't X-ray a suspected damaged rib.
So you're 100% now?
100% now. Like I said, back in sparring, feeling good, and no. Strong as ever.
I notice that people sort of always raise an eyebrow when people say, "How does it feel?" But when you've got that famous belt, how does it feel? You know, to be walking around as a champion.
Well, when I won the title at Leicester, I was like buzzing. I think you can see with the reaction I gave after, especially in Leicester with all my friends and family there. The titles just allow me opportunities to fight these big fights. If you ain't got a title, you got to work your way up to get these big fights. But now, all my fights, when you're defending your belt, they're big fights, aren't they? And that's what I've been working for all my career. You don't want to be thinking, oh, one day I'll have that belt. Like now, that time's there. I've got this belt, and my aim's to defend whatever belt I've got. Like I said, I've got 2 belts, so I could be defending the British, I could be defending this. You know what I mean? I've got options now. So.
2019, when you look ahead to the months in front of you, how far would you hope to go in the following, in 2019?
Whatever opportunities or options get put on a plate to us, and I'll take them. I'm in the sport to provide for my family. Like I say, there's been videos of like my daily routine, working, training. That ain't, my idea of 2019 is not doing that. Like I say, I'm due to go back to work after this fight. I booked all my holiday off for this fight. So if ideally after this fight get a good win, and then I can hopefully jack my job in. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I've got the holidays left, so we'll have to do the weigh-in and Caterpillar.
Give us an idea what your average day is like. Those people, or those of us who find it difficult to get out of bed at 8 o'clock in the morning and are sort of knackered come 7 o'clock at night. What's your average day like?
A typical one of me on a Monday, for example. Mondays are an hard day, obviously after the weekend. I wake up between 4:30 and 5. I do my morning run, say, I don't know, 4 mile. Get home, have a shower, have my breakfast. I'm really good at prepping everything, so literally my clothes are folded, everything's out. I literally get my bowl out, my cereal in, everything, because otherwise you've literally got no time. Have my drink, have my breakfast, travel to work. We do 10-hour shifts at Caterpillar. Do my 10-hour shift. To be fair, I turn off when I'm there. I don't really think about boxing, 'cause I suppose it is a good way to turn off and just get on with what I'm doing. Leave work and travel to Newark. With the traffic in the evening, it's probably an hour and 20, hour and 30, like I say, depending on traffic. Train with Carl, have a good grafting session, hour and a half usually, and then travel home. I usually get in, I usually bring the miss on the way, and we'll get in between 8 and 8:30 in the evening. She'll have my dinner made for me, and then, like I say, eat my dinner, have my shower. I'll usually go to bed about 10. Like I said, don't give much
it is absolutely full on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's extremely full on. I'm exhausted. So that's why when people say, like, do you watch boxing on the weekend and stuff, I think, not really, because I've got to turn off a little bit from it, because otherwise my life will just consume boxing work. I'd have no personal.
Well, the opportunities are going to be there, I guess, Frank, and things could very well significantly change.
He's dedicated, isn't he, Sam? So, he'll make them happen, and the opportunities will be there for him. No doubt about it.
Right, let's turn attention then to Anthony on the left here. 36 years old, 35 wins, 60 defeats, 16 by stoppage, but he went points against former world champion Robert Stieglitz, and also only lost on points to the man who is currently the WBC champion, Alexander Gvozdyk. This is Mehdi Amar, and Gvozdyk has since been the man who has pretty much ruined Adonis Stevenson. So this is a real fighter, Frank.
Yeah, it's a step up the game for him, and that's what the plan's always been with Anthony. Sunday and I have a lot of discussions about what fights we want to make and making the right fights for him. And I hope this is going to be a fight for him. If he stops him, that's going to be a massive statement, because the other guys didn't stop him. So it's for him, he's a tough opponent, and he'll get the best out of Anthony. There's no doubt about that. Anthony, you got to remember last year he finished on a low. He's supposed to have been on the undercard of Tyson and Wilder, and all that nonsense and crap that was going on with the local commission and that, they stopped it from happening, which was very frustrating for everybody concerned, more importantly for Anthony. So he wants to make sure this year that he's busy and he's getting the fights that and getting into the position where we talked about and discussed, and making it happen.
Making it happen being a world title fight at some
he's
stage.
Number one. He's ranked number 1 by the WBO, and that fight takes place in a couple of weeks' time, doesn't it? The rematch between Kovalev and Alvarez.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alvarez.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alvarez. Sorry, Alvarez.
Yeah, and potentially that would be the winner of that one would be in the target.
We're looking at, the WBO at the moment are talking about putting the fight out. Let's get this one out of the way, then we'll sit down and go through it and see where we're at. But that's what we talked about for him. They're the sort of fights that he wants. I'm sure he can tell you that himself.
Well, let's ask. You've got this guy coming up in front of you. He's got a good record, certainly on paper. He's been in with some very, very tough men. How close are you now to actually being where you want to be being absolutely top of the pile, and how much of a danger is this man?
Well, first, thank everyone for coming. Thanks all the media, from everyone else. And
in terms of fights, literally, whoever's put in front of me, I know this is a line that you've heard so many times over the years, but whoever's put in front of me, I've got a job to do. Everyone knows I like the knockout, I like getting the knockout. But again, no matter who is put in front of me or what opponent I've got to fight, I've got a job to do, and that's for me to win the best way I can. In my opinion, the best way is to get a knockout for the fans and for myself, my own ego. That's literally my job. I don't focus on nothing else. This guy's been put in front of me for this particular occasion, 23rd of February, so that's my focus.
17 wins now, 16 by stoppage. You do have a liking for the big shot, don't you?
Well, it's entertainment. I feel like, you know, the era when everyone was watching Mike Tyson, the whole excitement thing was how long it's going to last. You know, the ferociousness, the entertainment factor, being explosive and entertaining.
I know you plan things meticulously with Tunde, your trainer, but in your own mind now, how close do you believe you are to the top?
I think I'm very, very, very close. Again, I've said this from the beginning. When I'm world champion, I'll say the same thing. Everything's timing. You can be world champion again. You got the next fight you have should be at the best time for you in your own career. So I'm not world champion yet, but at the same time, I'm still saying everything's timing. No matter who the world champion is, I feel like I need to put myself in a position where I can challenge for that world title when the time's up.
There are other talents around. I mean, do you think you're absolutely, provided you come through this, ready for a world title shot maybe in 2019?
Well, I try not to focus on the competition. I try to focus on myself, where I'm at, mentally and physically. So I try to look at a picture as if it's any era. I say to myself, am I ready to fight for a world title? It don't matter who the world champion is. It could be Kovalev, it could have been Stevenson. Hope obviously he's getting better and things like that. I wish him all the best. But it could have been any world champion. I'm just naming two people that I know their names. But I need to work on myself, and that's being ready for anyone that's put in front of me. Not only when I become world champion, but after that as well.
He thinks he's nearly there then. Frank, what do you reckon?
I think he's right. You know, people keep saying, you know, when's he going to get the, you know, when's he going to do the big fight? I could have made a world title fight for him last year. We were offered a couple of shots at the world title. But it's not about getting a fight. It's not about fighting for the world title. It's about winning it and defending it and doing it at the right time. It's timing. You know, it's not I always use the old adage, it's not like a 100-metre or 100-yard dash, it's a marathon. And he's getting there. You know, as I say, I'm a little bit annoyed about what happened towards the end of last year with that fight, because he needed that. But this one will bring the best out of him, and then we'll see where we are with it. But he's an exceptional talent. When you look again, again I know I bang on about it, about the limited amateur experience. He's only had, what now is it, 46 rounds as a pro. But he does the business in the ring. He's exciting. You know, he can take you out with either hand. He stalks guys. You know, you're just waiting for something to happen. You know it's going to happen. As soon as he lands one of those extra sets, it's all over.
How frustrating was it missing out on that December first outing on Tyson's undercard?
Do you know what? Initially, Frank will tell you, when he was telling me that they pulled the fight, my jaw started clenching. I started to get upset. I started to get angry. But then, literally minutes later, I went back to my beliefs. You know, a lot of people say they believe in things like that, but I said, literally, some things happen for a reason. Not in my mind, nothing negative, but again, timing. You know, maybe it's not my time to be fighting at that stage yet, or maybe I've got a different route to go. So I always see something positive. Frank said that it was a low for me at the end of the year. I disagree. I think I had a fantastic 2019, and literally just again motivation.
3 wins in 2018, yeah, didn't you?
3 wins, 3 stoppages. So again, all that whole occasion did for me is, again, I gained experience. You know, as Frank said, the commission over there do things that are very, very different. So again, I got that experience to go out there, see how they do things. Again, I fought in Texas before, they do things different. So again, for me, I just gained a lot of experience from it. It dug a hole in my belly and made me even more hungry.
Just broadening it slightly, now that you're 17 fights undefeated, you've become a well-known sportsman. Clearly, you're going to be somebody who's very much recognised in your community. How much do you enjoy that?
It comes with it. I try to just focus on the goals. Try not to get caught up with all the, they call it hype, because hype don't last forever anyway. So I literally got a job to do, and that's, again, I've got my goals. I want to become world champion. I want to unify, become a pay-per-view fighter, etc. And all these things come with time. It don't just come overnight. So again, stages and stages.
You can really visualise it, and you feel as though you're on the road.
Most definitely.
Anthony, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And all going to be seen on February the 23rd, Frank?
All going to be seen on BT and in the States on ESPN. So great exposure for all the guys. It's up to them to get out there and sell themselves and look good. Also got a great undercard. Got Ryan Garner undefeated on there, Willie Hutchinson, Ryan Hutton, Tommy Fury and Mark Chamberlain. They're all good quality young fighters, so it's a fantastic card.
Absolutely. And Leicester, it's a great, if you've not been up there, it's a tremendous arena for boxing, and it generates a terrific atmosphere, some local favourites on the card, and I'm sure it's going to be another special one. So all the guys here are going to have opportunities now to do one-on-one interviews as you might wish, and we'll do photographs as well for you guys as soon as we vacate the table. But thank you very much for coming along today, and we look forward to seeing everybody on February the 23rd.
Certainly good. Thanks a lot.
What's that? I can't actually.
Yeah, face to face, please.
I don't know. I'll just go with some
Hey, Vicky. Sam, Maxwell.
Just call him, that's what you're at, man. What's going on? Yeah, alright, cool.
Good?
Yeah, Vicky. Is that Leon next? Good. Thank you. Sam Bowen? Yeah. I said, no, you're fine there, Frank, that's all right.